yeah, war has broken out. Now, over the last few days on the news, you can see the entire crisis has been boiling down to war. What? Oh, yeah, it is a war right now. I mean, Russia is already sending Russian troops down into the capital of Ukraine, Kiev. And really, this is amazing. I mean, turns out my first videos were about this crisis, and suddenly now the crisis is now boiled down into a war. But it's amazing how little attention this war gets. I mean, I remember looking on the news channel, and only like at the very end of it all do they say, oh yeah, people are dying and also there's a war going on, and then they end it. And they're not giving too much in to what's going on. Nobody is learning about the deaths in it. Everybody's talking about the tanks, the buildings collapsing, the weapons and all that stuff, the invasion. But nobody's talking about the deaths. Nobody's talking about the damage. Everybody's just talking about what's being used and what's going on. And that's really not what you need to do. If you want to understand what's going on, you're going to have to look at every single part of it, including the sad parts, because that's going to help you understand it. It's a terrible topic. There are a lot of people dying already. Putin is doing something terrible, yes. But no matter what, this is a topic that you need to discuss, not tinily, but fully. So let's get started. First day of the invasion. It's at night. You know, everybody's sleeping. And then, as you probably already know, Russian troops stationed themselves along the Belarus and Russia-Ukrainian border and Crimean border. They immediately set up their target missiles, and start launching missiles straight into the major cities and, of course, the capital, Kiev. If you look at it, you can see the footage. You can see the footage of the rockets coming down and the buildings bursting into flames. Yeah, that stuff. Except we don't get to see, like the people dying because it's outside. But anyways, day 2. The day has arisen and the citizens are now fully awake. Oh yeah, the Russian troops in it. Immediately, the Russian tanks start moving into the major cities, and the troops start clearing down into the countrysides. Day 3, the capital of Kiev has been turned into a battleground. Ukrainian and Russian troops and Belarus troops battle in the middle of the streets. The civilians have already been packing up and leaving to the Polish and Ukrainian border so that they can hopefully escape from all the nonsense. Next day, it has been confirmed that a war has started and the entire shape of the earth is about to change. It's a terrible thing to think about, yet it's so important. Soon, one day in the future, somebody will open up their history books, and one of the newer installments into the history books is a war between Europe and Russia, and also the United States of America. But it isn't just going on in Eastern Europe. Western side of the world, United States of America, Washington, D.C. President Biden isn't doing anything. He looks at the reports and he immediately calls for action. But he does not give orders for action. He says, do something. Packs up the paper, puts it in an envelope, kisses it, and sends it all the way to the U.S. Senate. he doesn't do anything else. Yet America is the only place. It isn't just the western side, not just Europe, Russia, and America. Let's go to a different place where there are many other countries that we don't focus on, but they are preparing for war. Not yet invading, but they are. China. Border between Taiwan and China. The giant bay on the Chinese side is now covered with aircraft. China is sending aircraft into Taiwan's border zone, which is violating the laws that if you enter that area, then you're going to need to confirm that you're not invading. And China's doing all of this without confirming that they're not invading. They've been violating it. Now, they've also been doing it in the late 20th century. But still, nobody cares about that. America showed its military force, and then China backed down. But now, when America used its military force to scare China away, China is now building up missiles, tanks, troops, and are now setting up U.S. captured naval ships from Russia. Well, captured. That's what Russia says. Russia is saying China stole from us. Even if he announced on TV, we made an agreement with China that we're going to be invading different countries that used to be ours and are 100% ours because heritage. And yeah, they're basically doing the exact same things. But anyways, in the last few months and the last few years, you can see China has been building up a giant navy. Now China has a bigger navy than us, the United States of America. Well, we do it. We have the bigger ships, we have the more powerful guns, but they've got the speed, the agility, and the numbers. And that is causing a giant problem for everybody in the world. And Taiwan, they're also building up military force. Not for offensive, but for defensive. You see, if you go look at Russia, Russia is invading Ukraine because they think that Ukraine is Russian, rightfully Russian. China thinks that Taiwan is Chinese, rightfully Chinese. I don't get the difference because, there's not exactly any difference except that there are two different countries invading two different places, and also one of them is a country and one of them is an island, but the exact same thing is going on. Just remember that. Don't only focus on Europe. That momentum is building. But you know what else? What other momentum is building? Taiwan and China. So you should focus on that a tiny bit more than what's already gone on. And here we can see that these two powers that used to be communist, albeit China is still communist. It's run by the Chinese Communist Party, except it's a bit more capitalist here, but still, communism. And for now, the momentum builds as nuclear or a third world war is on the horizon. And this sun of war will soon rise, and it will light up the whole world. Not with heat and light, but with nukes, missiles, war, and death.